Mr. President, last year I came to the floor a number of times to speak about a grave problem in our federal judiciary known as judge shopping, where hard-right litigants bring cases before sympathetic judges in order to push their radical agenda. Last summer, I led a number of my Senate colleagues in writing to the Judicial Conference, asking they recommend policy reforms to better ensure impartiality and basic fairness. I'm very pleased that last week the Judicial Conference responded to our concerns by announcing a new policy to assign civil cases that have statewide or national implications to judges at random across a district, instead of going to a predictable single judge in a single division. These reforms would prevent absurd situations like the one we saw in the Northern District of Texas, where one extremist judge was handpicked by the hard right to revoke the FDA approval of mifepristone nationwide. If you care at all about impartial courts, last week's announcement was good news and probably came across as just common sense. So it was quite striking and, frankly, deeply troubling to see the Republican leader come down to the floor last week and excoriate the Judicial Conference's announcement. The Republican leader accused the conference of taking the bait of partisan Democrats, as if randomly assigning judges is inherently partisan. The Republican leader seems to want to see judges be handpicked when we know their views already to make decisions. That flies in the face of justice. He claimed that it's not the place of senators to weigh in on how the courts administer themselves. Well, Congress created the Judicial Conference a century ago precisely to recommend policy updates like this. We all know what, of course, the deal is here. The Republican leader is fuming because these recommendations would make it harder for hard-right partisans to hijack our courts for their purposes. Leader McConnell is not even pretending to hide his partisan motivations in this case, and that's deeply damaging to the trust of our courts. I would encourage the Republican leader to focus more on finding ways to restore trust in the judiciary than defending an obviously abusive practice that most Americans would oppose. And I believe that Congress has a duty to conduct oversight of the federal judiciary. We'll keep investigating abuses with our court system. We will keep investigating abuses within our court system going forward.